Welcome everyone to a very special Fight Island edition of the Fighter and the Analyst. I am your host, GK The Fight Analyst, and this here is my man, the Joker himself, Peter Petties. What's up, bro? How's it going?
I'm good, chilling. Just trying to keep up with what I can do back in the home state right now.
Yeah, man. Before we get down to everything, let's give a shout out to our sponsors, Manscaped, guys. Head over there, get some of the best male grooming products to keep that junk smelling great and feeling fresh. Use promo code TFTA20 for 20% off and free shipping. And also our new sponsor, Our Life CBD, with some of the best CBD out there. Great customer loyalty there as well. Head over there and use our promo code TFA10 for 10% off your next order. With that said, man, what's up? What's new? How's it going since, coming home from your long journey down here in South Florida?
It's been good. Just relaxing. I've been doing a lot of strength and conditioning, lifting, getting on just a little relatively program, something that I can put together while doing my little 14-day self quarantine. I noticed Neuroforce One had a little online program, so I started doing a little online strength and conditioning
Oh,
program.
nice.
Yeah, so it's been good. It's been good. I've been doing it about what is it? It's a 7-day-a-week program, but they have like built-in rest days where you have to do things, and then the lifting schedule is like 4 days a week. So it's been good. I feel stronger already. It's a 12-week plan, so my thought is by the end I should feel a lot stronger. Feel strong. See what weight class I want to go. I know being down at Sanford, I felt good going with the bigger guys like Robbie, and I was really mixing in with Robbie. As weird as it sounds, I did a round with Rumble, and it felt good. So I cut a lot of weight, so we'll see. Maybe I'll go up to 55. I don't think I'll do 70 unless it's like regional bums, as bad as it sounds. But I think 55 may be my home, just because I am a big 45er, and I do think some of the weight cut has some stuff to do with my injuries. So we'll see though. I'm just having fun and trying to take my time while Corona's going on right now.
Yeah, man, tell me about it. It's getting pretty hectic and crazy down here in South Florida with the whole coronavirus. We are, stopped once again. Businesses closing down. Hope at least the gyms aren't shutting down, which is great for fighters that are still getting it in. But as we've seen with the gyms open, American Top Team, they're getting hit. Sanford MMA, they just got hit as well. So it's really crazy times. And what do you think about Gilbert Burns catching this thing and then Jorge jumping in and now his coach doesn't has a virus? Like, what do you think of this whole madness?
Honestly, that is MMA. At the end of the day, the only thing that Corona's really done is it's added an extra stressor. You got to think normally you have your weight cutting stressor, you have your injury stressor. Now we have Corona stressor, where it's like right now, like I'm kicking myself. I wish I was, if I can backtrack last year where I was just healthy, ready to go, this is the perfect time to be with a decent opportunity knocks. So this is like the perfect time to just be ready to fight and to capitalize. If I was a UFC fighter or a guy on a bubble, even relatively in shape, there's no reason you shouldn't be in shape right now because opportunity can knock at any, whether it's a day notice, 2 days notice. Even if you look at the old cards, like the past few cards, you had debuters step in on 2 days notice and win. You had guys fighting on 1 day notice. So, I think Jorge, hey, he played his cards right. He got the deal. He won it. At the end of the day, even if he loses, the man is like legendary when he comes. He stood his ground and technically he won. He won with the UFC. Not many people win in a bidding war at the UFC. He stood his ground and the UFC came back begging. And hey, he was like, hey, y'all got to give me what I want now. Like, and he got it. You
Uh,
can't complain, man. That's a win-win deal right there.
like all the cards just fell in his lap and he had so much leverage and they're like, yep, Whatever you want, just here it is. Thank you for saving the day. Thank you for taking this like huge opportunity on 6 days notice. What he's doing is just, the unthinkable, flying all the way from Miami to Vegas to get tested, then from Vegas to Abu Dhabi to fight at like 8, 9 in the morning their time. So it's kind of crazy. The man's a fighter, and I give him that. It's gonna be one hell of a fight, and I can't wait for this weekend. I can't wait for the entire fight card. It's gonna be absolutely bonkers. And let's get down into breaking down these fights. Let's start on the preliminary card. In the, I'm going to say the bantamweight division, we have a fight between Martin Day and Davy Grant. Right now, Martin Day is a minus 175 favorite, and the comeback on Davy Grant is a plus 155 underdog. Who do you got in this one, man?
From what I remember of these two fighters, I think Davy Grant is this is at 35, correct? If I remember correctly. Okay. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think Davy Grant is a long 35er. But in this matchup, I'm leaning towards Martin Day. I've been more impressed with his resume and his fight. So, yeah, I'm leaning towards Martin Day on this one.
Yeah, it's a very kind of a low-level fight, but I do like Day. From what I've taped, his striking is unorthodox. It's very flashy, a lot of kicks, a lot of good movement, a lot of staying out on the distance. He does pretty well. David Grant, he's a decent grappler. He doesn't throw a ton of volume, doesn't land a ton. It's just mainly he's going in there trying to keep busy and just kind of grind out his wins. But if I'm taking a side here, I feel like it's got to be Martin Day. I thought there was some value on Grant because of his grappling, but after taping it, I thought Day's grappling was at least decent enough to keep this fight against Davy Grant on the feet, and where he's just worlds better than Grant. And I'm going with Martin Day at minus 175. Next up in the women's bantamweight division, we have a fight between Vanessa Melo and Carol Rosa. Rosa is a minus 240 favorite, and the comeback on Vanessa Melo is a plus 200 underdog. Do you got anyone in this fight?
Don't know either, honestly. But if I'm looking at records, I'm leaning towards Carol Rosa for sure.
Yeah, this is a fight I'm definitely staying away from as far as betting wise. Melo probably fought the more tougher competition like she fought Aldana and Cortez in the UFC. So she's fought the better competition. But in reality, I don't want to lay any money on either one of these two. But if I had to pick a side, I would maybe give Melo a slight chance just because of the better competition. I don't think Rosa is even close to Aldana or Cortez either. So, yeah, this is a pass for me. Next up in the men's flyweight division, right? Yeah, flyweight division. We have a fight between Raulian Paiva and Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Right now, Paiva is a minus 175 favorite, and Zhumagulov is a plus 155 underdog. Do you have a side in this one?
I honestly don't know either. It's funny because the main card is so stacked that I'm like, I actually forgot there's even a card before the main card. Looking at that, like I told you, my number one thing to always look at is their resume, who they fought, how they've done. Looking at the resumes briefly, I believe Tyson Nam, Ali. Isn't Ali pretty good? That's the one I'm thinking of. I am going to lean with, on this one, the Russian guy.
Just by resume?
I'm not even going to try and say his name, but I'm going to lean with him. It looks like he may be the underdog.
Yeah, he
but
is.
I'm going to lean with him. I'm going to lean with him, and I'll tell you why. Main reason, the Brazilian seems to have one of those Brazilian records. One thing that I always like to preach to people in MMA, whenever you get a Brazilian, is you got to think of Brazilians fight in that little, if they come from Brazil, they fight in something similar to boxing, where they beat up, like their first 10 wins are against nobody. So like they can go 10-0 because they're fighting a guy like 0-3 or 0-34. So that's the number one thing I'm noticing. Like when this, yeah, no, hey, this is true. I'm telling you, if you ever look at some people's records, you will look and you'll be like, holy shit! But that's MMA, man. People don't realize that is MMA and why sometimes you can really sneak in on an MMA bet if you look at somebody's resume and who they fought. Because losses, MMA, we're getting to the point of boxing where it's like, oh, this guy has a bunch of losses, but is he losing to legit people or is he losing to suckers? You know what I mean? Is he losing to like, a guy who then went on to be in the UFC? Or is he losing to the guy who then retired 3 years later? That's like the number one thing you have to look at. So, looking at the Brazilian's record, he has a win. When he was 3-0, he fought somebody with no fights. When he was 6-0, he fought a guy 2-1 and lost. Just like little things. But that was 2015. And even his recent record, I saw he lost a split to Kai Kara France, which I think he's pretty legit. But I'm gonna lean on the upset for this one.
That was a good fight. That was a good fight too. Yeah, it was a good fight. It was a good back and forth fight from what I've last watched.
Okay. I mean, from what I would say, I'm gonna lean on the upset for this one, only because pre-UFC for the most part, a lot of his fights were against like one guy. Here's one when he was 15-1, he fought a guy 6-7 on a regional scene. And it just says win. It doesn't say what happened. I'm just not sold on him. I'm not playing no money, but I'm just giving out maybe a sleeper if anybody's feeling risky. Maybe they'll play this Russian guy because when I look at his record, he's not bad and he's fought some tough people.
From the tape that I saw on him, he didn't look great. I mean, I saw him fight Tyson Nam. I don't see how that was a unanimous decision victory. I don't think he really soundly beat him. It was a very close fight. He was getting dictated by Tyson Nam, just kind of stalking him down, throwing the jab, just staying, just the straight punches were really landing on him because Zhumagulov is kind of wild with his strikes, comes lunging forward with an uppercut. I just think Paiva's just got that reach. He's got that length. And he's kind of like a Tyson Nam type fighter. I just think he's just more grittier. Tyson Nam, I think, throws more power, though. I think Nam definitely has more power than Paiva, but I think Paiva's got decent output, 8.69 per minute. I don't know. I'm siding with Paiva here. I think he takes this one. Not really gonna go too crazy here, though. Next up in the heavyweight division, we have a fight between Marcin Tybura at -105 and Maxim Grisham at -115. So it's basically a pick'em fight here. Maxim Grisham taking this fight on short notice due to I forgot who he was fighting at the moment. One of the Russian guys, I believe, just pulled out. I think maybe because of the virus. I forgot. But with that said, Grisham taking this on short notice and up a weight class. He is a light heavyweight fighter. Who do you got in this one?
Man, that's a tough one. I'm big on Grisham. I think he's skilled in all areas. I know he went through the PFL circuit. They're good. He had a draw in the playoffs. I'm big on him, but short notice makes it a little hard. And going up to heavyweight. But I'm gonna go. I always have this saying. My coach says it. Skills pay the bills. So I'm leaning towards Maxim Grisham, man. I think he has the skill set to get this done.
It makes sense. He's definitely gonna be the faster of the two. Hey, what's up, Robert? What's going on, man? But I'm worried about the gas tank because if Tybura is going in and looking to grapple heavy and just push him up against the fence and just hold him there, he's gonna gas, I think, rather quickly. It's on short notice. During the whole Corona, who knows how much he's been training, moving up to heavyweights. It's just all whole sorts of bad. And Tybura is actually one of the better wrestlers in the heavyweight division too. So if I had to choose, I'm not betting this fight. It's just too close. If I had to choose, I'd just go with Tybura. Maybe if he uses his grappling. I know Grisham could definitely pop him and take him out of there. But I think it's just too much on short notice to go up a weight class against a guy who's probably going to have 20, maybe 30 pounds on him.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, biggest thing I would counter that with is it's also at heavyweight. So I feel like
Sure.
it depends
Anything can happen.
on, especially that when it's not like the heavyweights 9 out of 10 times are doing cardio 3 times a week,
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
I believe we'll see. I think it's a toss up, but I think Maxim's a good little pick on this one.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be, I think he should be the way better striker. In my opinion, he's going to be way faster and he's going to be more precise. Maybe the size of Tybura, if he just gets in and just holds him. I don't know. It's just a fight I'm staying away from. But next up in the lightweight division, I believe, is a fight between Leonardo Santos and Roman Bogotov. Right now, Santos is a -175 favorite, and the comeback on Bogotov is a +155 underdog. Who do you got in this one?
I actually thought this one was canceled, but maybe it's not.
No, it's not.
Okay. Yeah, I could have sworn it was, but I'm still getting these new guys, but when in doubt, go with Russia. That's what I always believe.
Really?
Yep. When in doubt, you got to go with Russia, man. I'm leaning towards.
Why in this fight? You don't know Leonardo Santos? Is that why?
I don't, but what I would say that Russian circuit, there's nothing like it. There is nothing like it.
He's literally not fighting anybody though. He literally fought nobody. None of those guys you see, they just have a bunch of wins and a bunch of losses, and it's with a bunch of other Russian people that they just like to fight. There's just a bunch of people, of Russians that like to fight.
They're battle tested, man. They are battle tested.
Yeah, they are.
But it's different than like Brazil. Like I said, if Brazilians are like the fake tough, where Russians, they're the real tough, where they're gonna rush you to death.
I do give you that. The Russians are tough.
To make it out of Russia, I firmly believe you have to be decent. Like to even be on, just because the country is so big, and you got to think like all those miniature guys like Khabib's, they're fighting since they're 13, and to make it out of that circuit, it's tough. You know what I mean? And then even looking at this guy's record, this guy fought someone with 26 fights when he was 6-0. 26
yeah, but fights. Who's he fighting though?
Who? Santos?
Who's that 26 fight guy fighting? Like,
I mean, let me look at his. I'm just saying his last 4 wins are legit ass wins. Like super. Let me show you the combined record of his last 4 wins. He has a guy who was 22-4. 22-4. His next guy was 20-5. His next dude was 21-7, and then a guy.
But who were they fighting?
But the thing is, this is an M1. M1. It's not like a random Russian promotion.
True.
Yeah. Like these are legit.
M1 is legit. Yeah. These are legit Russians.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the comparison that I'm making is similar to like Brazil. Like someone like Renan Barão, when he got to the UFC, what was he like? Something ridiculous, like 30-1 or something. But he was fighting like guys
crazy like that.
Yeah, but he was fighting like the Brazilian taxi drivers. But to build up his skill set, get his record out there. But like Russians, they're fighting legit guys when they come up, and that's the thing. Like you have to look at it with that type of eye, man. I'm telling you, this Russian, I'm big on him. Even looking at his record now, and I haven't even seen him fight yet.
You're taking the guy based off his record and that he's Russian. All right, let's
hey, go the wrong way. Right. I'm just saying, man. If he wins, I'm gonna text you. If he doesn't, I'm gonna be quiet.
You were the first person to text me. I told you, and you sent me a flag of Russia. You're like, I told you about them Russians.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I watch Bogotov. He's athletic. He's one. He's a Russian fighter. He wants to go in there and grapple. Most Russian fighters like to do that. That's what he does. But I just think he leaves himself open once he's on the mat. He doesn't have crazy top pressure. And he's going against a legit Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's got 9 subs in his career. He's fought legit competition in the UFC.
Yeah, now that
It's
I'm
not like
looking
this
at it.
guy. Like he's fought like a legit competition. He's been in the UFC for a minute. It's just that he doesn't fight that often. So, and I think if he takes him down, I think this is where we find value on Santos is to take him by submission because Bogotov really has never fought anybody that could fight off his back, like at all. He's fighting Russians. All they're going to do is counter with wrestling. They're not going to fight and just submit you off their back. They're going to try to get up and do the same thing that he did to them. So I just feel Santos has more ways of winning than Bogotov does. Bogotov is going to go in there looking to ground and pound, maybe grind out a decision, maybe luckily get a TKO. But I think it's Santos can get a KO or he can get the submission on the ground. But I don't disagree with your Russian method here. I don't disagree.
I will go on and say I looked at Santos and I agree with your sentiment, but the guy is 40. And I'm leaning.
Yes.
I did not realize he was 40 either.
Yeah, and he's only fought 3 times, I think, in the last 4 or 5 years. So I do get all those concerns, and that's why I kind of don't want to lay the 175. That's why I would definitely take the submission prop at plus 300. That's where I got it at. I think that's pretty good. I think it's either a decision win for Bogotov, which you can get like a plus 200 or so, or you're going to get a Santos by submission prop hit. And those are my ways I think of betting this fight, but it's not a fight I really want to go big on. I just want to get into like the main card and just hit our stride because the rest of this card is just.
I am okay with skipping into the main card.
Yeah, and I mean it's hard because we don't have much. Like there's Makwan Amirkhani. Okay, let's get to the next fight. Up next in the featherweight division, we have a fight between Makwan Amirkhani and Danny Henry. Right now, Amirkhani is a minus 200 favorite, and the comeback on Danny Henry is a plus 170 underdog. Who do you got in this one?
I think this is a very good fight that is actually flying under the radar. I think Amirkhani matches up very well. He had some tough losses, but when you look at the losses he had, you got people who are now ranked in the top 15 between Arnold Allen, who he went to a split decision with, and Shane Burgos, who he got KO'd by. But Shane Burgos throws heat, and then with
he went over 3 rounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think Amirkhani, I honestly like Amirkhani. But you can't sleep on Derrick Henry. I do think strength of schedule is a little bit closer with him. Better with Amirkhani. I think his best win in the UFC for Derrick Henry is Hakeem, the dude from Canada. I think that's his best. Yeah, I think that's his best win. And that was by guillotine. And, Hakeem's like a big Muay Thai guy. He's not really known for his jiu-jitsu or grappling. So I don't think he's going to guillotine Amirkhani. So I'm leaning towards Amirkhani on this one.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you here. I think Amirkhani, as long as he doesn't gas, he should roll here. I think he should have his way in the grappling and maybe get a second-round submission. I do like the submission prop here, plus 165, I believe it is. Currently at, but Amirkhani minus 200, I still think has value. He might even look like a minus 300, 350 favorite. I think he's just way better than Danny Henry. And if we saw Danny Henry's last fight, he got taken down by Dan Ige and submitted within the first round. So I feel Amirkhani's wrestling is just on point with Dan Ige. I think Dan Ige has a better jiu-jitsu because he is a black belt. But I do think Amirkhani's wrestling is on par with Dan Ige, and he should have his way with him on the mat. And next up in the welterweight division, we have a fight between Zaleski Dos Santos and Muslim Salikov. Right now, Salikov is a minus 135 favorite, and comeback on Dos Santos is a plus 115 underdog. What you got in this one?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Nope, I'm going with you on this list.
It's a really hard fight. I think this is a very, very evenly matched fight. The way this fight is gonna go is it's gonna come down to who throws more volume. Right now, from what I've seen, is Solikov does not throw a ton of volume whatsoever. He throws only 6.35 strikes per minute, and Dos Santos almost throws 4.5 times more than that. So he throws 10.69 per minute, and he lands 4.17 compared to Solikov's 2.92. So right off the bat, I think Dos Santos has a clear output advantage here. But Salikov does have the clear power and accuracy advantages in this. So it's really going to come down to whether Dos Santos is going to be able to fight his fight, stay on the outside, don't exchange in the pocket, don't get killed out there against Salikov, or Salikov just going to walk him down like he was doing, in pretty much every other fight before this, like against Nordin Taleb and Rainey as well. So it's really 50-50, which is why this line is so close. But if Dos Santos goes grapple heavy here, I think this is where you have value in Dos Santos at plus 115, or even maybe by submission, which is like plus 400 if I'm not mistaken. I think Dos Santos, if he could get this down, he could sub Salikov just like he did Millender. But this is definitely a fight I'm not going to bet heavily on either side. Maybe I'll sprinkle a little bit on Dos Santos by sub, but that's pretty much it. Yeah. Thanks, Dave. Thanks. This background was made by my good friend Jesse, so it's pretty dope. Lovely here, it's looking awesome. But yeah, let's move on to the next fight. In the light heavyweight division, we have a fight between Volkan Oezdemir and Jiri Prochazka. I definitely butchered that big time. Right now, Oezdemir is a minus 145 favorite, and the comeback on Jiri is a plus 125 underdog. It looks like money has been coming in on Jiri, and it dropped mightily over the last couple of days. So who do you got in this one?
I mean, after looking him up, I think we have an upset alert with Jerry on this one. He has 4 straight KOs against legit guys.
Who?
Muhammad King Mo.
Okay, but Oezdemir would knock him out stiff within like.
Okay, what about CB Dalloway?
CB Dalloway? CB Dalloway.
And Fabio Maldonado.
Oh my lord!
I'm just saying, man.
We're going resume hunting here.
What about Jake Kuhn? He's not bad. He's not bad. And then I'm just saying, this guy has put out, what is it? Before his last loss to King Mo in 2015, he's put out everybody by punches. And when I say everybody, it's been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 of his last 10 opponents. He's put them out, and out of all of those, 8 of those in the first round. I'm just saying, man. Resume wise, I think we might have a sleeper underdog here.
Resume wise, there's no. I mean, I guess if you're just going by that, he's knocked people out, yeah, but. You talk about Volkan Oezdemir. He's fought Daniel Cormier. I mean, he beat Alexander Rakic. He beat Alir Latifi. He beat. I mean, he was close enough that he beat. What's his name too? Dominic Reyes in a fight that I think he beat him. And then you got Jerry.
What I'm saying, outside of Dominic Reyes, how many of those guys got the punching power that is shown on this guy's resume? 0.
Wait. He also fought Jimmy Manuel back in the day. He didn't get knocked out there. He fought Misha Shirkinov back in the day. He's got power too.
Let me see.
I mean, he's fought OSP had power too when he fought him back then. OSP was surging at that point too.
But that's OSP. OSP was surging with a what's that? Top. What's that submission he does? Is it the Darce? No,
the Von Flue choke.
Yeah, there you go. That's what.
Yeah, but that's now though. But back then he was knocking people out.
No,
Jimmy Manuel was
knocking anyone out.
I mean back then, I'm telling you, you got like head kicks and other stuff. And, it happened. I'm telling you.
All I'm saying is a guy who has known power in their hands. I'm leaning towards a man on the underdog. I think this is a sleeper bet for you, for all the listeners. I think I've hit a sleeper bet on all 3 of the last 3 cards. I think
you have though. I do give you credit. You have.
So now I have to voice them a little bit more.
Yeah, but I think you're going too sleeper heavy here. I mean, you're talking 3 underdogs right now.
And it's gonna be even worse when we get to Paige Van Zandt.
Oh gosh!
I saw the odds on her fight, and I'm like, it won't hurt to hit that one.
It won't. It definitely won't hurt, especially if it's. But anyways, before we get there, I'm totally going Volkan Oezdemir here. I just think he's battle tested against the best of the best the UFC has to offer at light heavyweight. He's never been finished due to strikes either, mind you.
The first one's coming up this weekend.
I don't know, man. I think Jerry's gonna get put out, bro. I think they're just gonna go hand in hand and throw down here. And I think Volkan's gonna be the tough one here and put it on him. I'm going Volkan, battle testing, -140. Let's get it. But next up is the first fight on the main card. We have a fight between Paige Van Zandt and Amanda Ribas. Right now, Ribas is a massive -900 favorites. 900. And the comeback on Paige Van Zandt. It's +600 underdog.
Yes.
Who are we taking? Paige Van Zandt or Amanda Ribas?
So originally, I was going Amanda Ribas. And then I saw those odds, and I had to think, I will not be hurt by losing $100 on Paige Van Zandt because I think she can do it. I think she can beat her. And the reason that I'm putting that is because the intangibles. And what I mean by intangibles is her husband. So I think the factor that her husband is a former, D1 wrestler, an active MMA fighter, they have to be training at least once a day, if anything. So I'm going with Paige Van Zandt. Honestly, I don't have the balls to bet the decision. I do think that it can go either way, but I'm leaning towards Paige Van Zandt for the upset on this. And I will not mind losing $100 for this +600, honestly. I'm going to eat that all day because I would be hurt more saying this on a podcast and then not betting and she wins and I see that 600 go. So, yeah, I mean, when it comes to risk versus reward, I'm going with Barbie on this one. I'm going with Paige Van Zandt all the way.
I mean, given the odds, you can't bet Ribas. It just, no one out in there in the right mind can give you betting advice and say, yes, you should blow millions of dollars and throw it on Amanda Ribas like there's no way she's going to lose. No, that's not right. Can you throw Ribas in a parlay or two? Sure. I'm not against that whatsoever. But if you want to gamble, Paige Van Zandt's the way to go if you want to gamble. Because that's the best bang for your buck. And it's more of I would give it 70-30 than 90-10. I'm not giving her a 90% shot of winning. She's not winning 9 out of 10 times. I would say maybe 7 out of 10, 6.5, 6, 7, but not 9. That's just crazy in my opinion. And that Steven over here saying Paige Van Zandt by decision plus 1,000.
It's not a bad bet.
$10 wins you $100. I spent more at Wendy's the other day, so
exactly.
So $10 really gonna do me no harm. But yeah, it's definitely a fight that I'm not really gonna have any side in, and like I said, Ribas, maybe if you want to put her in your parlays, go right ahead, but you can't bet her straight at all. Paige Van Zandt plus 600. That's definitely. I think that's a solid gamble. I think it's one of the better gambles of the night because of the massive odds you kind of get back. The rest of these underdogs, I really don't want to gamble too much on, unless you're looking at like maybe a Jorge Masvidal or Max Holloway because you get more bang for your buck. But these other guys like Bokatov at plus 155 or anybody else, I just don't think there's enough value for me to chase. But I'm definitely staying away from this fight. I do like the Paige Van Zandt gamble though. Moving on in the women's strawweight division, we have a fight between Jessica Andrade and Rose Namajunas. Right now, Namajunas is a massive minus 210 favorite, and the comeback on Andrade is a plus 175 underdog. Who do you got in this one?
I have to go with my girl Rose. I was hoping that she was somehow the underdog. I guess the handicappers definitely saw what happened in her first fight before she got slammed on her head. So I was hoping, like praying, that Rose was an underdog to make easy money. But looks like everybody saw what happened. You saw the first fight. Rose was easily cruising before she got slammed on her head. And then you saw Jessica get dismantled by Whaley. I think that was like the perfect fight for Rose to see. I think her confidence might have been a little shattered after getting slammed on her head, but she seems like one of those sensitive girls where everything hits her. But she was destroying Jessica before that knockout. I mean, the knockout was probably one of the best ones I've seen in women history. But before she got slammed on her head, she was destroying her. And I think right now she comes in more disciplined, knows if she's holding on to something to let it go, just go to her back, and stay out of those slamming positions because that's what Jessica does best. She's the only girl that I could say would pick up a girl and slam her on her head. And I don't think she's going to do that twice to Rose. I think Rose has the fight IQ to not get caught in that situation again, So I'm going heavy with Rose. I think this is one of the stronger bets on the main card for the night, honestly.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go with you here. I just don't like the price. I think it should be it should be closer. I don't like minus 210. I don't like the price whatsoever. But she's probably gonna win this fight. She was giving it into Jessica in the first fight. It wasn't even close in the striking. She knocked her down with a clinch in the first round. It wasn't even remotely close at all. I know people were given the narrative that Rose is slowing down in the second round, but it's a 3-round fight. We don't really care about the slowing down because I don't see her slowing down to the point where she's completely gassed in the third round that she can't do anything and that Jessica Andrade is just going to come in there and just knock her out. I just don't see that as being a narrative. I just think Rose goes in there and does what she does and stays on the outside and absolutely picks her apart at range. Is what she did the first fight. She's going to do it here again. And as long as she just doesn't get trapped against the fence and tries to use a Kimura grip to get out of a slam, which is mind-boggling to begin with. I know it's a great defense against getting taken down, but against someone who can literally just slam you on your head, that's super strong, way stronger than you. I think that's not the way to go. You're talking about a girl that used to fight at 135 slamming girls. Now she's down to 115 slamming girls. So, yeah, I definitely got Namajunas here. I think there is some value in her by decision. I think it's plus 140. I just don't like paying minus 210 on her, but she should win this fight. Next up, we have a fight for the Bantamweight Championship of the world. Great fight here between Peter Yan and Jose Aldo. Right now, Yan's a minus 225 favorite, and the comeback on Aldo, the plus 185 underdog. Who is going to be our next Bantamweight champion?
I am going with Jose Aldo, man. I am going with Aldo to turn back the clock on this and win me some underdog money. I'm going with him. I think, thing is, I thought Jose looked good against Marlon Morales. I thought he won that. Do I agree with the politics of giving him a 35 title shot before Marlon against Peter? No, I don't agree with that. But I do think that Jose won that fight, and I think Jose beats Peter. I think Peter looked great against my man Uriah Faber, but that's also a 40-year-old Faber who I think doesn't beat anyone in the top 5, but I think he beats all the up and coming guys. So the guys that you'll get off the contender, I think Faber destroys those guys, but he's not going to be at 40 and what he does. He's not going to be the guy that beats, Henry Cejudo or any of those, Aljamain. I don't think he beats them anymore, but I do think he's like a gatekeeper to the top 10, top 15-ish. But I'm leaning towards Jose Aldo on this. I think Jose Aldo gets it done mainly because height-wise, I think he establishes his leg kicks. Jose Aldo's never had a problem with any wrestlers. I think the striking advantage is even right now. And, Jose Aldo's always been game for any type of takedowns and getting popping right up. He's like infamous for popping right up to his feet and getting right back to striking. I think Peter comes with a takedown heavy game plan, and Jose shows that even though he's balding, he's still only 32, 33 or so somehow.
And that dude looks like he's 36 though.
No, I know. I mean, he might have one of those Brazilian birth certificates, but I don't. Unless he comes in significantly slow, I'm putting some dog money on Jose Aldo.
Oh man, I'm sorry I have to go against you again here, man. I love Peter Yan. That dude's a freaking animal. He's one of my favorite fighters to bet on because you know what he's gonna get from him. He's gonna throw a ton of output. He's gonna push forward. He's gonna push the pace. He's got cardio for 25. Well, it looked from what I've seen, he's got it for 15 minutes. We don't know if he's got it for 25 minutes, but we will find out. I think he does. And he's just a gamer. That dude loves to fight. Yeah. He is a fighter. And I just like betting on a guy like that. And I think Jose Aldo has considerably slowed down over the years. We've seen with his output has been quite low. It's already low to begin with. It's been even lower than that over the last 2 fights against Volkanovski and Marlon Moraes. He's only throwing 7.89 for his career per minute and landing 3.47. In Yan, he's throwing 12.28 and landing 5.65, and he's landing more accurately as well against than Aldo at 44% and 46%. And Aldo is actually letting his opponents outland him much better than normally throughout his career. He's letting them land 45% of their strikes, which is around the same average that Yan is at 46%. So Yan's still getting being accurate on 45% of his strikes. That means he's going to be around the same average of 5.5 strikes he's landing per minute. And this is a striking affair for 25 minutes. I think Yan's going to butcher up Aldo. He's going to be significantly slower. He's not a Jimmy Rivera that looks to, or John Dodson that looks to kind of stick and move and stay on the outside. No, Aldo's going to plant his foot and he's going to throw down with you. And I think Yan is going to just pick him apart and just walk him down and just finish him. And mind you, there's not a big size difference here at all. Aldo just has a 3-inch reach advantage. They're the same height. I thought Aldo would be taller and bigger, but he's really not. Mm-hmm. They're the same height. He just has a slight reach advantage. Mm-hmm. So I got this one. I'm very big on Yan here. He's the future champion for now until Sterling gets a hold of him, and then I'm probably gonna max bet Sterling over Yan. I'm just telling you that right now. I'm very big on Sterling against pretty much anybody at 135.
Okay.
Next up for the featherweight championship of the world, we have champion Alexander Volkanovski looking to put his belt on the line against reigning champion Max Holloway. It's going to be a great fight. Right now, Volkanovski is a minus 210 favorite, and the comeback on Holloway is a plus 175 underdog. Who do you got in this championship fight?
Man, it's a tough fight. It's hard to go against Max and Volkanovski, but I'm leaning towards the champ on this one. You know, Volkanovski, I thought he put together a masterful performance the first fight. I do think it could have went either way, but I did have Volkanovski, I think like 3-2 again in that fight, and I think he gets it done again. And the main reason I was on the edge about either one of these. The main reason I'm leaning towards it is mainly because, you know, Max's little interview saying he didn't really train. He did mainly classes over Zoom. You know, anything like that makes you like a little wary, especially when it's like neck and neck type of fights like this. So, you know, I'm leaning towards Volkanovski on this to retain his title, but I would not be surprised with a all-out barn burner fight. And, you know, we get a new champ. But I'm personally not playing it, but if I had to choose, I'm choosing Volkanovski for this one.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Volkanovski as well. I have him winning by decision at plus 100. I think that's pretty good value there. I just think, yeah, like you said, with Max Holloway not really putting in the work, I don't know how he's going to really combat the 100 leg kicks that he saw in the first fight. If he didn't go and train for this fight, how is he going to know how to battle 100 leg kicks that he's going to get thrown at him in this fight? I think it's really going to be the same story. He's going to come in there, throw a bunch of leg kicks and save the distance. And while Max is coming in, Volkanovski throws some combinations, and it just kind of looks exactly the same type of fight. My only worry about Volkanovski is that he wasn't training at City Kickboxing for this fight. He was at home in his home gym, from what I think I read. But I still think he wins here. I'm not going big on here, but I'm taking Volkanovski to win by decision because we're getting good odds at plus 100.
Yep. And I'll give a little insider. I know one of the NFC champs was down there helping Alexander Volkanovski. So I do know he had a legit camp. Martin Ninja.
Oh.
Yeah, so he was supposed to. He's very close with my boy Ung. So sometimes when he comes to Sanford, he stays at Ung. So Ung was like, "Oh yeah, Martin's coming," and then he told me Martin wasn't because he was helping Volkanovski for his camp before the card was announced. That tells me, Volkanovski was training a good 8 weeks before this whole card, came together. So I will say, yeah, that's the main reason I'm like, on the insider tip for everybody.
Okay. So that's even better now. I like that. Maybe we bet a little bit more on Volkanovski. I mean, you gotta. That's why we have you here, man. We got you for this. You bring all the insider information. You bring the fight game to this breakdown to help us. And let me tell you, you've helped. If people really listen to your expertise here, they would have cashed on a ton of big dog money plays throughout our times here, like a lot.
True. That is true.
So people out there watching right now, you listen to what this man has to say because he's very, very knowledgeable, and he's cashed out big time on some of these big dogs.
In the last 2 months, we had my boy Bruce Leroy, who I told y'all, I should have said Max bet that, but Bruce Leroy and my dude from Couture, Extreme Couture, Justin, I can't remember his last name.
Genius, yeah. Yep. Another great bet. Plus 300s all across the board here. But yeah. Man, could be another one. Who knows? Plus 600 Van Zandt, anyone? Maybe? I don't know. Uh-oh.
MMA gods are gonna do it.
Oh, I would hope so, because then we could come back to this podcast and be like, oh yeah, I know who said something. All right. And in the main event of the evening, we have an amazing fight between two awesome competitors in the welterweight division for the welterweight championship of the world. Kamaru Usman is putting his belt on the line against title challenger Jorge Masvidal. Right now, Usman's a minus 255 favorite, and Masvidal is a plus 215 underdog. Who do you got in this fight, my man?
So I'm gonna give a big disclaimer here with the asterisk. Number one thing, whenever I give plays on bets, especially because 9 out of 10 times I'm meeting these guys and chopping it up with these guys, this is nothing personal. This is just my own feeling with my own money to give people plays. Now, with that said, I am going with Jorge Masvidal, man. And at the end of the day, what it is I think people forget this was my sleeper play for the last year or so. I think before we even started this podcast was Jorge made me a lot of money, and it gets back to resume, man. Like Jorge is one of those guys that's fought the who's who of every division. You think about it. If you go back in his record with Eves Edwards, and then you look, he's fought Rafael Sunsao when he was 4-0. He's fought. I was at his fight in 2016 in Virginia when he lost that horrible split decision to Ali Quinta. He's been game for so long. Let alone game bred, but he's been game against anyone for so long. And it's nice to see, the Darren Till where people started to hop on his bandwagon, and then Ben Askren just took him to a whole nother level. And then you get the Nate Diaz fight. So it's good whenever you see a guy who's been through the ringer. What is he, 17 years in, and now he's getting the notoriety. With that said, I think we have an easy sleeper on this. If you look at it from American Top Team, Dustin Poirier put an interview out today. I don't know if people read it, but he was like, man, Jorge's been training the last 2 months. He's like, he never stopped being in the gym. And I think people don't realize that. I don't think Jorge would have took this if he wasn't really prepared. He had Bo Nickel down there for a while coaching in wrestling, helping him. His takedown defense isn't horrible. The only thing that happens with Masvidal, which I've had this little critique for a while, is he gets comfortable. And what I mean by that, he'll be chilling during a fight, and it from a judge's eye, they just don't like it. I don't think he used to throw enough volume, but he switched it up. As he said, he started baptizing people, started knocking them out, and that's what he did. Kamaru, I met him, but I was down at third. He was cool. The number one thing I can say, I didn't see him training. And that's me personally. Another insider tip here. Like I said, my first 2 weeks there when he was in Florida, when you have that, like I would ask people, where's Kamaru? But I don't know. I haven't seen, I didn't see him training at Sanford. I seen him one wrestling class, so, and then I guess he went out to Nebraska. So my thought is and he was game planning for Gilbert. That's a whole different skill set than Jorge. I'm not saying, I think Jorge's striking is way cleaner than Gilbert's. Jiu-jitsu wise, yeah, you got Gilbert's jiu-jitsu is going to be there. But Jorge isn't a slouch on the ground. I think Jorge is a black belt on the ground too. He's not Gilbert. He's not Gilbert Burns black belt, but he can handle. With that said, I'm leaning towards my man Jorge. I'm not gonna say he's gonna put out Kamaru. I don't bet props at all, but I'm taking Jorge by by W on this one. He's gonna
win. Baptism. By baptism.
Okay. I don't want to say he's gonna finish Kamaru. I don't want to say that, but
I feel like he has to. He literally has to finish him. He has to finish.
I think he has many ways.
I feel like he has to finish. He's not going to go 25 minutes defending takedowns and get a nod. I can't see it. Sure. You know what I mean? I feel like can he knock him out? Absolutely. Will he? I don't know. I don't think it's like a 50% chance that he's going to go in there and knock him out. I don't know if you're going to. I would give it maybe like a 15 to 20% chance that he gets a knockout of Kamaru Usman.
I mean, if he throws the volume that he threw against Nate, then I think it's an easy night. If he throws that volume.
Nate Diaz is a walking punching bag.
No, and I agree. I just thought that was impressive for Jorge because Jorge is normally a slow starter. He's normally like second round, third round. Sometimes he just cruises, but
then he realized how easy this fight was. He's like, all right, okay, let me just go in there and start punching this guy. He just stands in front of him, like he just goes in there, like Nate Diaz just stands in front of his opponents and just gets tagged, and he just pretty much is on toughness at that point and just. That's what he did with Pettis. Pettis was tagging him, but he just kept pushing forward.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm very big on Usman. I've been big on Usman since the whole Usman versus Masvidal thing came about months ago. I don't see how Masvidal wins this fight other than a knockout in the first 2 rounds. If he doesn't get it, it's Usman's fight to lose. If you've seen it, he's had the picture perfect fighters to fight in his last 3 fights. He fought Askren, who shouldn't be in the UFC, number 1. Number 2, Nate Diaz, who stands in front of you and is a punching bag, and another striker in Darren Till. Now he's going against a grappler. Last time he faced a grappler, he lost fairly convincingly against Damian Maia. He got taken down, and he got tired throughout that fight. He will get tired defending takedowns against Kamaru Usman, who's physically bigger, physically stronger, arguably the best wrestler he's faced in his entire 48-fight career, probably. And it's not like Jorge Masvidal really deserved a win, a championship fight with the resume he just put together on his 3-fight win streak. Darren Till, Nate Diaz, Ben Askren. Does that call for an immediate title shot? Absolutely not. Not even remotely. No. Gilbert Burns is the only person right now that deserves. And Leon Edwards, I would give Leon Edwards and Gilbert Burns a shot over Masvidal any day of the week.
I agree.
He did the Conor thing. He did the Conor thing. He got himself out there. He got what he wanted. He got paid, and I salute him for that. I just don't think he's good enough to beat Kamaru Usman, especially on 6 days' notice. Whether he's been training till he's blue in the face, I just don't think he's going to beat him. I just can't see it. I can't see it.
I mean, I agree in regards, when you say resume, I agree on the Leon Edwards. I don't agree on the Gilbert Burns resume. Just because he kind of copied Kamaru. He beat Damian Maia and Tyron Woodley. 2 guys who...
Damian Maia also beat Jorge, though. He at least beat him. He didn't just beat him. He knocked him out.
I agree. I agree with that. But you cannot take his resume. Those 2 fights, I don't think outweigh Darren Till in England or outweigh Ben Askren. Because, who saw that knee?
Ben Askren's terrible, though. But Ben Askren is terrible.
Ben Askren, no. I will say
Damian Maia. Did you see his fight against Damian Maia?
I will say that
that was atrocious.
Ben Askren is terrible, but he got away with plenty of years being terrible. He beat what was his name? No, he beat Douglas Lima. He beat Lima. Yeah. That's how he won the title. He beat Lima when he was 9-0.
Damn.
And he also beat Lyman Good. Ben Askren has a
I don't take Lyman Good because Jorge Masvidal would beat Lyman Good. I think.
I'm just saying Ben Askren has. I would say he probably has.
I think Jorge probably would have finished him in that fight.
Finished too.
Without that, Masvidal would have finished Askren even without that knee, and I bet on Askren.
No, and I agree. I firmly agree. I mean, I'm glad I cashed that bet, but I do agree that he would have beat Askren even without the knee. But what I'm saying is, I think Askren's skill set was his worst thing was getting that murder row of Robbie Lawler, Jorge, Damian Maia. I think if he came into the UFC and they gave him someone like, let me think of a 7-year. Who would Ben Askren be?
Literally anybody that's not ranked, he would beat.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Literally anyone. Yeah, I could see him like being a fringe top ranked fighter, but he got a win over Lawler, who probably shouldn't have been where he was ranked wise, and he probably shouldn't have won that fight to begin with. So so he was kind of ranked too high. I don't know, because you're talking about it took Jorge 8 years to finally beat someone with a top 5 ranking in any division, and that was Darren Till. It took him 8 years to do that. 8.
I mean, sometimes it just comes to opportunity, man. I mean, you got to look at it. He lost by split to Ali Quinta. He lost a split to Ben Henderson. He lost a split to Lawrence Larkin. Come on now. Those are all split decisions. All split decisions before he went on his run. All splits.
But he's also 7-4 at welterweight. And four of those 11 fighters were lightweights.
But those are also special fighters. Like, even when I look at it, like
Pearson's not special.
Like, I think Stephen Thompson is. So like Stephen Thompson.
It's a loss. Usman would beat Wonder Boy.
I don't know. I don't know.
I would bet everything on Usman over Wonder Boy.
Oh man, I'm taking Wonder Boy in that type of fight.
Man, you're crazy. You just don't like Usman. I feel like
no, I do. I like Usman. What I'm saying is Wonder Boy. I just don't think he Wonder Boy is on his TKD, man, and his Taekwondo, and he doesn't close the range. Wonder Boy is slept on, man. And I think you take away the Anthony Pettis flying Superman punch, and Woodley being in his prime at that time. Wonder Boy's champ right now, man.
Well, I think he should have been champ to begin with. I think he won the first fight. Mm-hmm. I truly do. Second fight, I think he lost, but the first fight, I think he won. But
yeah,
and I was on Wonder Boy, and I was on Wonder Boy, so. But I don't know, man. I'm extremely big on Kamaru Usman. I have him money line. I have him by decision. I have the over 3.5. I think 2.5. I have over 2.5 takedowns landed in this fight at plus 100. I think that's a great bet. I just need 3 takedowns in total in a entire 25 minutes. I think we can get that pretty easily at plus 100. I think that's one of my. I think that's a pretty cool prop that one of my sites have. But yeah, man, I'm huge on Usman, man. I'm huge on Usman, and I just think it's gonna be a great fight, man.
Yeah, I mean the card is top notch, man. The card is.
It's just if we can only get through the prelims a lot quicker, only we could do that. But so that pretty much wraps it up. But before we go, if you were going to give out like your best bet, who would be your best bet on this card?
Let me see. Best bets. You have to go with. Let me see. Go back to the card really quickly. I just cut it off. My card. There we go. Okay, so we'll go top to bottom. On my best bets, you have to play something on Paige Van Zandt. You have to. Whether it's $10 to $100, you have to play it just in case it hits. I'm strong on Americani on that one. Let me see. Let's go to the main card. And then outside of the main card, I think if you're feeling a little risky, you go with my boy Jerry. You go with my boy Jerry on that one. And also another sleeper bet for the undercard is the Russian Roman against Leonardo Santos. Now, if all those hit, I expect 10% commission on all of them.
Hey, you heard the man. You guys heard the man. 10% splits on all your winnings on those guys. Not kidding. But,
all right, now, main card. I do think Rose is a strong bet. I would play her in a parlay, or if you're feeling super strong, just go straight up with that. Outside of that, those are my best bets because the other ones, I will say, you probably have a 50-50% chance of losing. And my 50-50 shots are Masvidal, Volkanovski, as well as Jose Aldo. And asterisk, I said 50-50. So you heard my best bet, so then you heard the toss-up ones that I'm giving out.
All right, all right. I guess on the prelims, some of my favorite plays are Makwan Amirkhani as well. I think he runs through Danny Henry here. I'm also liking Volkan Oezdemir going head to head here. I like Volkan Oezdemir minus 145. And for the main card, I'm on Peter Yan and Kamaru Usman. You guys can double up on those two. I think get close to even money. Those are two of my favorite plays on the main card as well. So that's our show for this week. Before we go, where can everybody find you, my man, so they can give you a follow?
All right, follow me at Why So Serious MMA on Instagram and Twitter.
All right. You guys know where to find me at Fight Analyst on Twitter, The Fight Analyst on Instagram and Facebook. Before we go, guys, head over to thefighteranalyst.com to get my packages. If you guys want 2 weeks, we got it for $40, 3 weeks, 65, and for just this card alone, UFC 251 is $25. That's it. Just $25. But guys, get the full 3 fight cards because we got 3 fight cards in the next week. We're talking Saturday, Wednesday, and Saturday. $65 gets you everything. And we're going to cash out a ton of money. We got a max bet this weekend. We have a max bet on Wednesday as well. And I'm looking to max something out on the Saturday card as well. So you're not going to want to miss this out. Guys, also, please head over to Manscaped and, help out the podcast and get some products over there. Use promo code TFTA20 as well as our CBD sponsor, Our Life CBD. Head over there, get some products, TFA10 for 10% off. Guys, if you do that, send me your receipts. We can work something out. We'll give you a discount on our fight packages for supporting the podcast. So with that said, we are out. We will be back hopefully maybe Sunday to break down the Wednesday card. We will see how our schedules are conflicting and working out, but we will see you guys next week. Either way, you guys have a good one. Have a good night, and let's cash these bets this weekend.
Man.